Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA, and this video is going to be my thoughts on Daniel Cormier saying that Stipe is likely going to be his last fight. So I saw a video where Daniel DC Cormier was on TMZ talking to someone, and he was like, "Listen, Stipe is probably going to be my last fight. I was saying when I was 40 I was going to be done, but because of my injury I couldn't meet that deadline, so this is most likely my last one." What do I think about that? First off, it really might be, but it might be one of those things where it's dependent on the outcome. I feel like if Stipe, which my prediction, and I'll get more in depth to the specifics of it, but on some real shit, I feel like Stipe is gonna win the rematch. I feel like he's gonna probably knock out DC. I feel like if that is the case, I feel like then DC's just gonna hang it up from that point. Like, he was like, all right, it's 1-on-1. Fuck it. I proved enough, you know what I mean? I won 2 belts, 2 weight classes. I made it to the Olympics. May not accomplish what all I wanted to, but hey, I accomplished a lot. Or he beats Stipe in the rematch, which you can't take it away from him. He really has the capability of doing that. But the fact of the matter is that from what I saw in the first fight, DC had his moments where he was landing good shots on the outside and closing the distance. But I feel like Stipe found his range and he was good with the pressure and he could handle the grappling. And I felt like Stipe may have got a little overconfident and too comfortable in the fact that he was finding his shit like right then and there. But DC started picking up on his shit a little bit later, and DC's dirty boxing is always dangerous. So I mean, those clinch uppercuts are fucking nasty. So even you showed, bro, that fucking clinch hook is nasty. Although I do feel like an eye poke played a part into it. But anyway, it doesn't fucking matter because at the end of the day, it doesn't change shit. Stipe still got knocked out. DC still the heavyweight champ. And I feel like DC has this thing where he defaults, where if he's not comfortable on the feet, he can default on his wrestling and neutralizing and controlling the opponent. But from what I saw in the first fight, that Stipe is too big that there's a certain size discrepancy where technique is not gonna overcome that, especially when that person has, like, you may have a high level of technique, but if they're very well versed in technique as well and a lot stronger, they don't need to have that same level of technique because the strength compensates for it. So I feel like that's what Stipe showed in the first fight. So I don't feel like DC can have that to fall back on. But DC is a very good striker and a pretty good. He's a good kickboxer. You know what I mean? So but Stipe is more of like a super sniper like boxer. So I feel like Stipe needs to I just kind of went into like a stylistic breakdown, but he needs to really be controlling distance a lot and being on the outside and closing distance and popping right back out. He can't let DC even like be able to reach to grab for or even like touch his fucking neck. He just needs to dart in and out, and he needs to be cutting angles. Like when he's in the pocket, he needs to start cutting lateral angles, and he can't stay anywhere where DC could get a hold of him just for in the dirty boxing exchanges, because a lot of fighters have their tendencies, and I don't know if Stipe has remedied his tendency of when he's coming out the clinch of having his hands low. And although you might be working on something a lot, the fact of the matter is when you're in the heat of shit, when you're in it, of like, if it's like one of those things where it's a tendency and like you haven't just drilled it out of you, pause. I feel like that just in the heated moment, you're not going to be cognitive of it. So it's just going to be what you're used to. So, I do feel like Stipe does win this rematch, but I feel like if DC manages to win it, I feel like he's not going to retire. I feel like, I don't know how much they're going to make, how real the John Jones trilogy is, because as much as, like, John's not too interested in it, and DC might not be too interested in it. We don't know if Brock signed, like, a better deal, so Brock's not coming back. It's kind of what he's waiting for. might be a thing where even if he beats Stipe, he might hang it up, to be quite honest with you. But I feel like if the UFC really, really, really wants to make the Jones DC trilogy, that DC never turns down a paycheck. Like, as much as he says he doesn't care about money, he's been like very hypocritical in that with his actions and it's pretty much openness of just doing things about money. I wouldn't have a problem with it if he didn't state previously he didn't. But anyway, man, I feel like we'll see, man. Because DC, we know he, like, a lot of people like him within the company and the brass, so he's got, like, he's going to get jobs and shit like that. He's going to get taken care of, so, like, with opportunity, because he does earn his stuff, and he's, like, a pretty good commentator and stuff like that, decent analyst. He's a good commentator. I'm not going to front on him, honestly. He's a pretty good commentator. Actually, I kind of enjoy his commentary, but I used to not, because I was just, like, super not fucking with him. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on if this is going to be DC's last fight. More videos coming. You already know it's Mastermind MMA.